I have not spoken about the AdPocalypse thing that hit YouTube recently, and the reason for that is I generally try to avoid anything that could be dramatic, anything that is really not about gaming directly, and keep this channel somewhat free of the cares and woes of the real world. But I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. I have to briefly talk about this subject, and I'll explain why towards the end of this video. I'm sure most of you know exactly what I'm talking about with the AdPocalypse, but just in case you missed it, a while ago there were some hit pieces appearing in what people are calling old media, the print media, that sort of thing, and these pieces painted YouTube in a very bad light. Not just YouTube, but the content creators on YouTube, and they were basically spreading misinformation at best and just blatant lies at worst. I don't want to go into the details of them, but some of them were absolutely ridiculous, and it tried to paint YouTube out as a bastion of evil, a place for Nazis and terrorists to spread hate and teach the world to kill everyone else. And I'm not really exaggerating by much. These articles were really massively far off the mark. This unfortunately spooked a lot of the big advertisers who really don't seem to actually know how the internet works and took these articles on face value. They pulled out of YouTube, and YouTube's revenue was slashed overnight. I mean, they really were hit hard. That's YouTubers and YouTube itself. All of them hit very, very hard. Now, I don't want to get into whether or not this was a deliberate attempt by old media to bring the internet down a peg or two because they're having a hard time competing with it, as many people are suggesting, or whether it was just people making articles hoping to get views and using controversial and over-exaggerated, if not invented, drama to get those views. We know people are not above that. They'll do it on the internet as well as off the internet, so that is a possibility. Now, YouTube have responded, and they are trying to win back the advertisers by implementing a system that only allows adverts on advertiser-friendly videos and demonetizing ones that are not. The problem with this is it's really hard to say what is and is not advertiser friendly, because that really depends on the product. It's also a bit of a laughable term when it's applied to something like YouTube, where the adverts are appearing on videos where the content creator has no knowledge of what videos are running. Those videos have very little to do with the adverts. The adverts are tailored to the viewer who is viewing the video, not to the content. Now, Google may have used the viewing habits of that person to decide what content, what advert to feed them, but it's based upon the person. Let's face it, a lot of people who are running these corporations and these advertising agencies just don't know how this works. They're probably a little older even than I, and they're really clueless on the internet. They're the sort of people who phone you and ask you to come around and fix their router because it's just not working after the cat sat on it. We know what these people are like, and YouTube are trying to win them back by doing things that I think are not necessarily actually in the advertiser's best interests, but YouTube probably feel they have no choice because they've got to win them back. To make matters worse, even if your video did get monetized, you would earn nowhere near as much money because, of course, the value of these adverts has been hurt quite dramatically. There's less people trying to buy them, so they have to sell them for cheaper. I can tell you, for me, I noticed the income from YouTube adverts go down by over half. That is over half, and I am one of the lucky ones. In fact, I'd say I was probably about as lucky as you get on YouTube, because I didn't seem to get anything demonetized. I did check, it's not easy. I did get a lot of my videos put as not family friendly in restricted mode, but honestly that makes sense because I do cover adult games with fairly violent content. So if you've got restricted mode for your 6-year-old, they won't see most of my videos. But for the monetization, I got off lightly. There are people who have been pretty much wiped out. So things are pretty tight at the moment. However, I do not want you to worry about me. I don't want you to get into a panic and think I'm disappearing. Luckily, I am supported by you guys, by a lot of great patrons who support me over on Patreon, and it's given me a little bit of a buffer. Things are tight. We've had to reevaluate things here. Many of you know I was thinking about moving out from this small apartment and getting a house. That is on hold for now. That is on hold for the near future. However, I'm not in any danger of not being able to pay the rent or put food on the table. We're going to be okay. We're keeping our head above the water. So do not panic. I'm still going to be doing this as far as I can see. I feel like we're at the worst point of this adpocalypse. So I think things are just going to get easier from here. So please do not worry. And also on that subject, I have to thank the patrons. I don't thank you enough. I really should do that. I should thank you more often. But you guys have pretty much made this possible. I'm continuing on YouTube because of you guys. Without you, I probably would be panicking now. Let's put it that way. I would not be able to justify doing this. I'm pretty sure I'd be getting that look by now with, right, isn't it time to grow up and go back to your old job, sort of a thing. So you guys have really thrown me a lifeline here, and I really appreciate it. Thanking you is just not enough. All I can say is this is possible because of you. That's the bottom line here. You make this possible. And yes, I will try to get another patron Q&A live stream going sometime soon to express my gratitude a little more personally. So, if things are not dire and I'm not going to disappear from YouTube, why am I bringing this up now rather than a couple of months ago when it first happened? Well, the simple fact of the matter is I'm getting ready to actually release merchandise after all this time. I know I've been promising you guys I would do it for years, but we're actually pretty much ready to do it. And of course, I'm doing it at a time where money and finance is the big thing, and I know people are going to read too much into it. People are going to be thinking, oh my god, you're having to sell merchandise now? Is it that dire? I mean, what's next? Are you going to end up with a webcam and twerking for views or something? I mean, it is nothing to do with the adpocalypse. We've been planning this for, I think, almost a year. We've been testing products and t-shirts from different vendors. We've been having things sent to Norway and Australia, washing them, testing the stitching. We've probably gone a little overboard on this. We've overthought it to the point of ridiculousness. I'm sure that surprises nobody who watches my videos. But we made a decision, and then we started coming up with designs. We were hoping to actually release it 2 months ago, but hey, did you expect me to be on time with this? No. So please don't read too much into it. It's something that we've been planning for a while, and let's be honest, it's something I should have got sorted out years ago. It's something that every other YouTuber on the planet has done within a couple of months of being on YouTube. Let's face it, I'm just slow at this sort of thing. That's the only reason it's coming now. Okay? So thank you for listening to my long ramble about the YouTube situation. I don't want you to worry about me. I think I'm going to be okay. A big thank you to the patrons who make that a possibility, and merchandise is coming and has nothing to do with this. Okay? Thank you for listening.